So let's start with a small, really small task for you, because it's already late. I think you're like maybe sleepy a bit, so I want you to be more aware of what's going on. So I need your help. Do this like that with one of your hand, like okay sign, yeah, everybody. Oh, this other hand, make thumb up, please. Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, drinks should be down. I'm going to bring down my microphone for a sec. So and like clap and switch them. Switch the signs, please. What was wrong with you guys? I understand this bar is working and like, but seems like your hands like is not very working in a proper way. Yeah. Okay. So it's just a simple example about what we can learn if we learn something, we do something, and even you know the basics. Like I showed you, it's just like okay, you can now try to do it at home. But if you don't practice it, you will never achieve the same like agility as I do. And so the main idea that today I'm going to present you really basics of the design, basics. I'm sure you have heard of them, like, but I'm going to show you its own practice. And if you're going to use these practice tips, I think that it's going to be, your dashboard is going to be much, much, much better. So like, keep it really focused today, please. And by the way, why? Okay, it's about me. Sorry, I was starting to speak about the theme itself. So, Roman Bunin, I really do love visualizations BI. I'm some kind of a roasting dashboard machine. Today I'm going to roast dashboard of one of your colleagues, by the way. I mean, as a host of the today event. So like it's going to be also fun, I believe. Yeah, like nowadays I'm doing data and BI in Nebius Group. So if you have any questions, I always open to speak. By the way, I'm speaking like that not because I'm too sexy, want to sound sexy, but I'm unfortunately got a bit ill. That's why I'm maybe sound a bit crispy when I'm usual, but like, yeah. So it's not my manner, it's my voices today, unfortunately. So, okay, moving to the speech itself. Why should we bother about the design? Why should analysts bother about design? But do they need it? Do we really need it? My answer is yes, just because if we're going to something like Tableau public, we are going to say type like dashboard example, so a cool design dashboard, so whatever. It's going to happen that we have works like that one, and even that one. And do you know what this is the dashboard where it's from? No? Clap who knows where it's from. Okay. Only 3 people from our room today knows that it's a sample Superstore dashboard from the design of the Tableau themselves. So, and as you can see already, it's not a really good shiny design. So, but they provided as the best design they can provide. And even in your start page, every time you open your Tableau desktop. So, like, I think that's why we can see that analysts really need basic design skills in order to make something cool. Something cool like that or like that. Are you agree? No, to be honest, not. It also works from Wiz of the Day, and unfortunately, it's also quite shitty. It looks like sexy, it looks like, oh, it looks cool, whatever. But in real life, if they would dig in, like, oh, what is the numbers, how they show, what is the structure, what is the color use, and so on, it's also going to be quite poor on the design side. So that's why if you see a sexy picture, don't think that it's a good design just from the beginning. Really dig in and understand how it works and why it works. And today we are going to learn some useful skills for you, and I'm going also to show some of them. But how has it happened that analysts don't use a lot of good design principles? It's not your fault, guys. Really, it's not your fault. Because just you're asked to do a lot of different stuff. You I don't know, you need to do SQL, you need to do machine learning, you need to do the Python or whatever, and also data visualization. And data visualization itself is quite complex field of knowledge. If you break it down, it consists of 4 main reasons. It's information design, graphic design, user experience design, and storytelling. And it's like each of these topics, there are special designers exist in the real world that do it them for the full time, so full-time work. And information design is about presenting data and information, graphic design about how it looks like, UX design about experience, and storytelling about telling the stories. Okay, we can see from the naming. And today we are going to learn from each of these designs principles, design fields, I would say. We are going to learn really basic stuff from each of them that can really influence and improve your dashboards. We are going to do something like a bad example. It's my work at my dashboard. It's quite okay. It's not ideal, but it's quite okay. But we are going to, I would say, make it worse when they're going to ruin and some of the principles I'm going to talk to you about. So the first principle we're going to talk about, also let's make some, I don't know, I could say, accession how our auditory is working here today. So do you know who Tufty is? Clap if you know. Yeah. Okay. Not enough for me, to be honest. Okay, Tufty was a really cool information designer. He was working mainly in the 90s and the beginning of in the 80s and beginning of 90s. And he came up with a really KPI for dashboards. And I really love this principle just because it's like, it's a really metric, like KPI for dashboards for ourselves. We analysts, we really like KPIs. And the idea is really simple, that every ink, because he was living in the previous era, I would say, he was like referring to data ink ratio. So the ink that going to show us some data versus the ink that is not showing any particular useful data. And in our modern world, we can say that it's the pixels, so like data ratio pixels. And every pixels you place on your dashboard, if it provides some valuable data, it's okay. But it's like just like, I don't know, graphic design on the behind, some kind of a back, like a wallpaper on your dashboard and so on, it's not useful. So, and the idea is really clear and really simple. Let's do not something that over-complicated, but let's do something that's really simple, not using a lot of grid lines, some backfill fields and so on and so on. And like, it's really, let's do minimal. And why it's really matter and why not nobody, but a lot of people confuse it with that it's not, I don't know, interesting enough or really shiny and sexy. The idea that people don't understand the main purpose of the dashboards. The dashboards, are utility tools. It's utility tools that you are using every day. Let's imagine if with, I don't know, calculator you are using in your iPhones or whatever, would every time be like one day it's in a pink and with flowers. The other day the font is really like, I don't know, showing something in something other environment. So when we're speaking about some really utility tools, it's okay to be minimalistic. It's good to be minimalistic. So don't confuse, I don't know, like minimalistic design with the poor design. It's just the purpose of it. For example, okay, let's imagine that on your dashboard in your car when you're driving, and it's instead of just showing you some number with your speed, it would be something like, I don't know, really colorful, really, I don't know, big and so on and so on. So, and let's see how it's applied to real examples. We are going to watch a really cool set of, we are going to look for one of them. It's one of the designs steps on how to improve your data ink ratio. So idea is really simple. We have something like that, like a clap once who was showing something like that by the business users. You know, okay, we want to create it in Tableau. No, you have such nice business users. Okay, I see. Okay, So the idea that we for sure don't want to use anything like 3D. Okay, we are not. You don't want to use something like backfills and chart fills and just remove them. We don't need a lot of grid lines also. By the way, do you know when grid lines are needed and they are not needed? Why it's okay to remove grid lines? What do you think, guys? No. The main idea that you need grid lines if your chart is really big one. If it's, I don't know, half of the screen or whatever, in this case, we need some guidance for our eyes in order to understand what's the value of the chart. In this case, we are looking at one point and then glide our eyes along the line and understand what the point is about, what is values approximately is. Yeah, but the idea, if you have a small chart, something like, I don't know, 1/4 of your screen or even less, you don't need these lines in order to see what the approximate number. You can see it without moving your eyes from left to right and so on and so on. So if you have quite small chart, we can remove it. If you have it's like quite a big one, it considerably not to remove them, but anyway, it's also a non-data ink, non-data inks. So also removes any shadows. We also can remove any markers. It's also like sometimes doubtful. Okay, so it's questionable whenever we need to remove marks or not. The only, I would say, the only case then you need to leave them. Two cases of them. Whenever you print it out, but I hope you, okay, club who prints your dashboards. Okay, the silence was the answer. So it's nobody prints it nowadays. That's why if you print it, yeah, for sure you need markers in order to understand which line is which. But if you also, one of the possibilities that you have something like here we have on this side, it's about that 3 dots is going to be almost in one angel. Next something with one angel, or for example, in this place. And in order to understand that there were no, that in, for example, in March, there was some data, we need to see this point. Because if you are going to look at like that, it's going to be removed. We are not sure if it's just 2 points that are connected, or we have something data here, or we're missing data here. We don't understand it. In these cases, marks are like useful, but nevertheless, first go without marks. And if you see that something really grows steadily on the one pace, you can leave them. Yeah. Next thing, like we can remove anything with bolding. We can also do something like make our access and labels really light, and also remove non-valuable precision. Like for example, nobody is going to see something like 12.00. We don't need this one. We can erase it. And this, like, we are going to have a clear chart. No more Calibri. To be honest, I don't know what the author of this video, what is his relationship with Calibri, but he for sure don't like it. Let's assume it's a bad font, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Also, we need to make something like direct labeling. If you have something like that, you can just place labels here and don't use any kind of color legend. And also we need something not so bluish, sexy, different kind of blue stuff, but something that is more distinctible. By the way, have you ever thought that colors are really vectors? Colors are vectors with 3 dimensions, like RGB or whatever. You can go with any color space. And the idea that they separate colors in a good way, if these vectors are located as much as as much as distant as possible. That's why, for example, if you're creating a color scale for your dashboards, it's quite easily to find these vectors and to find the distance between them. If you want to highlight some dimensions, it is a good idea to have such colors. And for example, we can do it like that, or we can highlight only one particular line if you want to say about something about this particular patient that we have on our chart. So, and like, yeah, less is more. So we've gone from this one to this one, and for sure, I believe you agree that this one is much clearer. So if you want, okay, no, it's not. Oh, where is my PowerPoint? Just give me a sec, please. Okay. So the main algorithm is quite easy one. Remove excess background, remove the grid, remove the borders and all the stuff. It's like removing non-data ink, and remove excessive data ink like rounding, precision, legends, labels instead of access, and so on and so on. It can improve your charts and improve this KPI. And by the way, we can even compute this KPI. One of the things I might future plans is to make some kind of AI bot that would do so for us, and we will just have it like a KPI for a dashboard. Just send him a picture and understand what is the ratio. If we broke this rule, we're getting something like that. For sure, it's exaggerating. We broke all of this stuff here. We're showing everything with everything. But unfortunately, sometimes I see a dashboard like that. Okay, let's clap who's seen something like that. Maybe not so bright and cool, but like something like that in their production. Okay. Send this video to your friends who made it. So like, I assume it wasn't you. So like, yeah, I think it's some kind of a friend or whatever. So, and for sure, if we remove all of this clutter, it looks much better. Just like, okay. So everybody, I believe, agree on it. Okay, let's move to the other rule. It's a proximity rule from graphic design. It's one of the mostly broken rules in dashboard. So we are going to find out why it's so, but like, yeah, it's for sure one of the most broken one. But in order to demonstrate how it works, I need two volunteers, let's do it two, who want to volunteer and join me on the stage. Like, okay, Andrei, come on, yeah, sure. Okay, you can go, yeah. Okay, guys, let's assume it's like that, yeah. Can I ask you to stop like that? Yeah, okay. Who are from other friends? Like, who knows each other? How do you think? Okay, I need your ideas, guys, like, point to me or whatever, so like, who are from us are like know each other already. Still not obvious. Okay, let's go like that here. Who knows each other? Right now. Okay, now it's obvious. Okay, see, and like let's place and use just in the middle, like yeah. Who is going to be Andrei friend on the next Tableau user group here? Like, we don't know, yeah. Is it kind of quite obvious for you just because you were silent, guys? Why are you so silent? Please, no, don't be so serious. It's a joke. Okay, thank you guys very much for your help. But the main idea, we really understand how people relate to each other using this proximity rule. If people are standing close to each other, understand they are some friends, or I don't know, they may be couple or whatever. So it's easy to understand. Or for example, if you see in the public transport, you can see like a bag laying on the ground, on the floor. You understand who it belongs to just by proximity rule. And if nobody is there, you are starting like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Who lost this bag? And so on and so on. So that's why proximity rule is really inside of our mind. It's really our monkey brain using it. And for example, if we have just 9 circles and we're starting to separate them, there are going to be different groups of that. Before, it was like, oh, just same, equally related to each other 9 circles. Now it's like, oh, there's 2 groups of circles, and oh, there's really 2 groups of circles. Yeah, and I think it's like, to be honest, unfortunately, some wars starts like that. There's people separated by something, and like, okay, we are against them just because it was separated by some destination. And this rule is really important just because we can understand with using this rule, we can show the user what is related to what, and like we can group different charts and different filters and so on in a group that relates one purpose. The second rule that is really quite similar to proximity rule, it's an enclosure rule. If we enclose something in some kind of a border, or we can place it on a panel or whatever, so it's also working like, okay, these 4 circles seems to be strange. They are not the same anymore, yeah? So, and the idea that, unfortunately, not only analysts, but all of the people struggle with this rule because they are using it a lot. They don't understand that just distance could work as well, but they understand that it need be to group somehow by the use case or whatever. But in terms of using it, it's much more worse in terms of amount of non-data ink you are adding. So the main idea, if you want to show something similar on a dashboard, try firstly use distance between them, between these groups, and only after that, if something is really hard to make a distance, you can use some panel or border. But firstly, try to use only distance. And also these 2 rules comes to like I would say, a child of these 2 rules, it's inner and outer paddings rule. The main idea that if we have, for example, okay, now it's very strange. If we have a text inside a panel, and if its destination from the border to the text is really small, it looks like it's not cool. It's not really accurate or whatever. But if we place special paddings inside this panel, it's looking okay. And the main idea that what is about inner and outer paddings. The inner padding here is much less, for example, than this distance between 2 abstracts. But if the idea that the outer paddings should be at least at the same distance that have this object inside of it. So basically it's working like that, and you need to feel this in terms of where you need to add padding, so you need to add one, and so on. So let's imagine we broke these rules on this dashboard. By proximity rules, I can think that this KPI is related to this table somehow, just because it's really close to each other. Or, for example, we have a lot of space between different KPIs, and they are not now grouped in one, and we feel like, oh, it's something strange going here. It's really far away from each other, and so on. But if we are placing it like that, we have really tight distance between KPIs. They acts like groups, or we have really good distance between table and charts. It's also working like this group of charts are together. We can see it clearly, and this part is additional part behind that. Okay, the proximity rule is really important one, and it was the second area of design, but now we move on to UX design, and it's the next part is F pattern and rule of a contrast. I can say that I can calculate the focus function of a user. So using these 2 rules, we can predict which which part of the dashboard is going to be looked mostly by the different users. And the idea that, for example, in Eastern culture, we read our textbooks from left to right, from top to down, and it creates our F pattern. So the idea that approximately most of the people are going to look at the dashboard from these sides. Why European culture? Yeah. But it's not only the rule. It's also always confused, like, okay, I need to put here some really important information, that's it. I'm going to use this corner and it's enough. Unfortunately, it's not. Just because our focus function, it depends on F pattern and contrast. And what about the contrast? Let's try it out here. Please read the slide. Okay. Applause who who read it in a direction that was forecasted by this slide. Okay, I can control your minds. Yeah, you see? Okay, it's simple contrast rule that controls how your minds gathers information and dealing with this information. And the main idea that the placement of the elements of the dashboard depends on two stuff. The location during to F pattern and the contrast, how much this object is contrast. Is it big? Is it in a different shape? Is it in a really bright color? And so on and so on. So Tableau made the research and they did like, they put special glasses on the people and they showing them dashboards. As we can see, okay, yeah, a lot of attention is going to the first strip of the KPIs, but at the end, look, there is a special I would say hole here and hole here. Why it happens? It happens because, okay, can I stop it? Interesting. No, I can't stop it. Okay. The main idea that, let's do it this way. No? Okay. Let me stop you, please. The main idea that the chart in the very bottom on the right, okay, now it's not going to work back. Well, but the main idea that this particular chart is like with quite a big area. This is a bar chart, they are all the same, and this is area chart, only area chart on this dashboard. It also draws your attention. So, like I don't know, if you know only about F pattern, you would think, okay, people are going to look it like that. And this one is really auxiliary chart that is going to be seen in the last. But it's not true, because it's seen also from the very beginning. From the very beginning, just because it's really big area of it. So the same stuff, for example, with this dashboard, where we can see that a lot of attention dragged to the people like form or whatever. It's about how people traumate themselves on the production, and for sure you can't expect, like, I don't know, a figure of the person on the dashboard, on the business dashboard, and it's like, oh, what's going on? It's like human body. And the same with the map. You see that in the map? That's why maps are used on every demo dashboards they show you. Every BI vendor, they're placing something like map just because it drags a lot of attention. That's why different forms and different stuff going to drag attention of your user, and basically you can calculate it in your mind what's going to be seen first, and so on and so on. The same dashboard, but no contrast at all. The text is the same size, it's located just located not in an F pattern, but just something. The same information, but it's really hard to understand what's going on here. Yeah, you agree with me? So the main idea, we can't do something like that. We need to do something like that. And the last rule before we go to the demo, not the demo, but like live coding, I would say, it's about context and storytelling. Storytelling is quite a hype in recent years because, like, oh, everything is a story. We need to make our like directors or scripters or whatever. So, who using storytelling in their dashboards? Please clap. I would really speak with you guys after this discussion, just because the main idea that I don't understand how to do so, just because in dashboards the data is dynamic. And like if I don't know, person selects the other filter, it's going to be like different story, totally different story. Like, oh, you know, new data came in, and like, or we open a new country or whatever, new store or whatever. So from my side, storytelling couldn't be applied to dashboards in full. It's for sure a really cool tool for presentation and all of that stuff. But in terms of the dashboards, I would say that context principle from the storytelling is the one we can use for sure. The idea that just numbers doesn't mean anything for people, just because we don't understand, is it good, is it good? We sold 500 units. Is it good? Who thinks that it is good? Let's clap. Who thinks that it's good? Okay, who thinks that it's bad? Okay, so let's start fighting, guys. No? Okay. The idea that we provide some context is going to be much easier to understand whenever it's good or bad. For example, we can provide something like it's 20% higher than the plan, or we can also add something like in this particular month we sold this amount of units and it's 20% higher than plan, and it's even 45% bigger than the same month last year. So it provides the context for a person to understand whenever it's good and whenever it's bad. So that's why this kind of stuff we can provide to the business users. For example, I really like this example just because like it looks like a sexy dashboard. It's like, wow, cool dashboard. Yeah, but we don't understand, okay, is it good, is it bad? We don't highlight anything for our customer. We don't have anything like, for example, like month over month or year over year change or whatever. So, and the idea that when we provide this, like adding some month over month, highlighting something red so that you understand it's the bad one, adding some previous years on the background and so on, it helps people to understand whenever it's good or whenever it's bad. So, I would say, theoretical part is done, and now I'm going to show you a real dashboard from one of the employees of Exness, and we are going to improve it. What do you think about this dashboard? Exness guys, let's say, like, do you want to roast this dashboard? Exness guys, do you know what is it? What is this dashboard is? Yes? Okay, I'm joking, like, because it's a style guide of the Exness, and I thought that maybe it would be fun to roast it, but like, I'm not going to be so cruel. I'm going to roast this kind of a dashboard. It's a test task of Lisa, who is now working in Exness, and it was her task for this role. So she was hired. That's why his dashboard is already cool good. But we're going to improve it. I asked her about it. Don't think that like I'm going to roast someone's person dashboard, not asking him about. And she bravely agreed that I'm going to improve it with you in live. So Lisa, if you are watching us, thank you very much again. And like, yeah, we are going to destroy it. Okay, let's go to the dashboard itself, and we are going to improve it. I supposedly I clicked something, and that's why it's already broken. But like, what have I put in? Okay, like, it's not dates, it's not something. Okay, let me open just from the scratch, just in order to don't save, please. And we are going to look at the dashboard and see what's going on here and improve it in the live mode. So we are going to go row by row from the very top to the very bottom and going to work with it. Let's start with the title itself, dashboard title. It's quite okay. I mean, there is no big problems in my... wow. Okay, I'm not sharing user rights. Oh my gosh. PowerPoint just... Oh, and you are like, oh yeah, he's showing us our temple. Okay, why don't you share this one right now? Okay, I'm going to replug it. Just give me a sec. I'm not sure what's going on. Oops. I believe every Tableau group I was participating in, I inquire some technical issues, so it's maybe some kind of my destiny. Okay, and it's not showing anything. But I can... Okay, maybe it just connected like it's any other screen. Let's check it out. Screens. Okay. Range. No, it's not a range. I believe you need use as extended mirror forces. Okay, now we can see it. It's working. It's working. Do you see a dashboard? You see a dashboard. Okay. It's a bit small in terms of size and in terms of scale, but I believe you got the idea. So let's go from the very bottom to the very bottom. Let's start with the dashboard title. Okay, if we have something like that, if you have a text logo, I never recommend it to do something with a full text logo, just because if you're going to have text logo and some kind of a dashboard title, each really close to each other, is going to be read like one sentence. It's like, for sure, in this case, it's working like this because Exness company overview. But nevertheless, if you're speaking not about like this particular example, but if some other title, you would it wouldn't be good. So that's why I would move this. Okay, I will need my two hands in order to do so. I hope it's working for you guys. So I will. Yeah, if something would hold this microphone for me, it would be really nice. Yeah, thank you, Lut. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, you are so cool in terms of holding the microphone. So I would move it like that. I'm going to move it like that just because it's like I don't have time to really cut this logo. So I'm just going to use the same color to fill in the title itself, and we're going to use it like that. So the idea, if you have something like a small logo of your company, I would go with that. So like, don't use full text logo on your dashboard, especially at every dashboard. You know, it's like, it's every company thinks that employees are forgetting who are they working for. Like, I don't remember. Yeah, it's a nice touch, but not doing it like that in a full scale. The next step is going to be like, we don't need this extra spacing inside of our text, and it's going to be erased on every text line almost in this dashboard. So you are going to see how erase a lot of spaces. Just because it's not necessary. It's like some kind of a graphical design stuff, but it's not adding any additional value or something. So, okay, now we have our title, we have our filters here. And what rule is broken here? For sure is inner and outer padding broken here. We can see that this title of the filter is really sticked to the edge. Yeah, you can see it. And it's look. I agree that it looks like something wrong with it. It seems like maybe it's okay, but there's something wrong with it. In this case, for example, in this particular case, I'm going just to duplicate it, and I'm going to use floatings. Never use floatings, but just like in terms of demo, I'm going to use floatings. And do something like that in order to place the title on the left side, just because it's not possible to do on Tableau by default, and I'm going to erase this title. So now we can place it somewhere in the between, and it's going to be equally located from the bottom and from the top, and it's going to look much better. Something like that. Oh, let's do maybe like that. Yeah, by the way, do you know that there is only 3 things you can look forever? It's like infinity stuff. It's like, yeah, it's like water, fire, yeah, and how other people works. So like, I'm providing you with some time for your, I don't know, maybe meditation or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to do some technical stuff, and I'm going just maybe to say some rubbish while I'm doing that. But yeah, with this filter, I'm going just to do the same. So, here we go, and like also erase the title, also add some paddings, and here we are. Here we go. Now we need just to make some extra space for our signs, and yeah. Also, there is something like additional auxiliary last refresh date, and I wouldn't suggest it to place it in this place, just because usually people expect some kind of a like close button or whatever in the corner, yeah, or filters, for example, and it's really good if it's something like here, like we can do it like a subtitle. We just need to bring it forward. Yeah, it's a bit too maybe too tight. Yeah, but if you're going to something like that, just going to no, please do it like that. Yeah. So now we have a good subtitle of fast refresh data, and it's also more clear to users where to see it, just because it's like also a place where people look in. And placing the filters, I would just place it at the very end, just because there is no need to not to do so in order to be in the end. Okay, so while I'm doing that, what are you thinking about the filters? Do you place them in the title, or you think that's a bad? You don't. Bad idea. Why is it bad idea? Yeah, but you waste a lot of space in this case. No? Don't agree? Okay, why do you want? No?
Yeah, but title, it's a title. And nothing should...
Yeah, but also, I don't agree. The problem with the title thing, that you are not working in an environment and as a presentation. It's really not a good idea, but it's really, so don't treat your dashboards as a presentation just because it's already inside the server. On the server, it's already have a title with the name of the book. It has a title inside of the dashboard, like dashboard style, like tabs, and also you also place it as a title. So mainly that's why I'm not sure that's going to be a really good idea to waste this, at least my opinion, yeah, to waste this space for filters. So some really useful filters are placed like that. Okay, so now we have done with the first row. Let's go to the second row. The second row is going to be our KPIs. And what rules is broken here? First of all, proximity rules. Our titles is much far from the figures than it should be. And also we broke F pattern just because people firstly reads what is the name of the metric, and after that they see what is the metric. Now it's not like we need to go like that and then go backward. That's why we're going to place it like that. And by the way, don't use any separate stuff for creating title for that. We can go here and just add this text inside the text box. And again, I'm going to erase a lot of spaces just because it's also some kind of brokerage of proximity rules. Okay. So, and also I would suggest you, are you tired already? No? I mean, like, I know that it's quite hurtful.
No, don't worry.
Don't worry,
Take
babe.
your
Okay,
time.
take your time. Yeah, for sure. We can like change you with someone, the rotation, make rotation. So, and also I never suggest you to do it in the center. Don't align it to the center just because like in this case, your eyes are going to go like from that to that point. And in this case, I'm going to be right straightforward from this spot to this spot. We don't read books alignment center, at least then it's poetry. Okay, in poetry we do so, but in books we read rows by rows, and it's aligned every time on the left. Do the same for your dashboards. Okay, also a bit of a technical work. I'll try to do it faster. By the way, active users null. I don't know if you need this information, to be honest. I'll delete it ahead just because like it's null. Maybe it's not a good metric. Maybe we need to do something about it. For now, I'm going to delete it just because I don't know what's the matter with this null data. Okay, doing the same with this KPI factoid, and like doing something like that. Okay, clap who aligns I call them the factoids or KPIs or buns, who aligns into the center. And who is going to align it to the center after this speech?
Dashboard is a poetry, right?
Oh, dashboard is a poetry. Okay, it was sweet. It was sweet. Is it love poetry, or it's some kind of a drama? Or what do you think about it? Okay, every dashboard is a poetry. So romantic. Okay, I'm gonna take my time and do it like because it's real life. It's like you're never enough to delete spaces. And we need it ahead. I know that I'm going to do with it, so we need to erase some spaces because it's going to get a lot of place. By the way, our organizers, if I'm going out of the time, please let me know this because I have my like pre-built version as well because I understood that like maybe it's going to take sometimes better. So like feel free me to stop me if you need one at some point. Because in this case, I'm going to go much faster.
I think we have
Couple of minutes.
10, 15.
Okay, it's going to work. Okay, thank you. Alex, you smell so good.
Poetry. Yeah.
Poetry? Oh, okay. It's like, cool. Okay, then I try to do it faster in 10 minutes, but I think we will manage it. Okay, and the customer volume, the last one is customer volume, and I'm going to put it like here, and going faster, faster, faster. By the way, if I'm speaking faster, you will feel that it's going faster, but it's going to be the same speed in real life. But like, nevertheless. Are you guys like having joy and fun? No? It's like, it's just too similar to real work, I understand, yeah. When it's coming like that, it's not so fun, yeah. Okay. So now our KPIs are done properly in terms of alignment and the text placement. What we can see next? We can see next that there is a lot of really non-matters precision, like average first operation with 38 cents. Like it's not important. So we can go to format and realize this excessive data inc. Yeah, we are going to remove it and see it like that. Also the same stuff here. I believe if people are spending 14 millions, it doesn't matter about millions itself. I mean, like whatever amount of dollars exactly spent, but we can like format it into like millions, for example. And if you rounding something to millions, goes with 1 or 2 precisions, just in order to be not too rounding. Okay, now it looks also better. As we can go down, we can see that like there is the same metrics: registration, customer volume, customer LTV, and average operation. But these charts are located somehow not so on a big distance from our KPIs, and also it breaks enclosure rule just because they're enclosed on their own panel, and this panel is not related to that. Let's do it this way. Just let's put this simple, really nice chart inside this panel, just because we are going to use it like that, and we will create really nice pairs of KPIs and sparklines. Customer value. Okay, average first order. So, okay. For sure, it's like now it looks a bit shitty because it's really a small one, but we can adjust it with no problem. We can make it not distributed evenly, but we are going to distribute on our own hands, and we just need to add some space. Let's go like 130. Okay, there, also like that. It's going to be 160. It's going to be, oh my gosh. No, please. By the way, Collapse, who really hates to create KPIs and buns in Tableau? Every other person's really like it. I am really interested in that one. Okay. Okay, okay, but you can see that it's going, yeah? We are going to have much less space for the same amount of data, and it's going to be located more, I would say, more logically. Okay, and the last one, almost last one, yeah, and it's done, yeah. And I would place them in some logical way. We have only one KPI that is without any kind of a chart. That's why I would place it in the very end. And also we need to make some spacings, just because now there is not a lot of space between these KPIs, and I'm going to add more of them. Yeah, like here we go. Oh, not extra space, like X space. You stopped clapping for me. I'm not happy. Okay. And just because it's like this awkward silence in my mind, at least. So like, yeah. See. Okay. Now it looks better. We have the same amount of information, but much less space. And also we can drag some stuff here. And by the way, if you don't want to use Tableau legend, you can always, like a life hack, you can always just do it a text way. And if you have something like ETF library, for example, I have ETF library on my own, and just select something from here, going to place it like here, and something, I don't remember what it was, but like, okay, and do it, for example, yellow stuff, and this is going to be gray stuff. Now we can have much smaller, a much smaller color region placed somewhere like here. Okay, funny thing, we just erased 1/4 of the dashboard. And for now, at least, it looks okay, yeah? So we improve our dashboard space in terms of like 25% almost. Let's go to the next block. Okay, we have countries, maps. Never use map when there is no real need. So just because Russia and China is going to look huge, but European countries is so small and tiny, but there are a lot of what's going on. So we just can keep this bar chart. We're going to delete all of this stuff. Country, if we want, if we need this filter, we can place it here. People are leaving. It's not interesting. Okay, I'm joking. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. It's Max. Oh my gosh, no. So if you're providing something like countries here, I would go with only one bar chart that just don't show only top 5, but shows everything. And we have like this and this part. I would go like, because you can see that it's also countries, I would combine these two charts, to be honest. Like, what's the matter to have China, Indonesia, China, Indonesia, the same stuff. So I would go and combine them. There is going to be some technical life hacks how to do so. Volume of the customer, we're going to place it like that. In this second row, we're going to use circles, and we are going to use ID of the customers. And now it's going to look like, ooh, no, it not here, it is here. And just details. Okay, so now we have our distribution. I really like this form below B chart. It's one of my favorite chart ever. But it's also, we can add, as the same it was before, we can add some box plots here. It's going to work like that. But also we don't need anything like country copy. Oh, I saw like this country copy. Okay, we are going to remove this filter. And now we have all of the countries. And the main difference that was with the previous, let's look at them, like, you can't see it, but these countries are colored by, these dots are colored by countries. So we are going to do the same with this chart. In this chart, countries. Okay. By the way, if I would go with real production, I would also add random function here. There is no such function like random in Tableau, in documentation or whatever, but you can create it and it's going to work. Random, yeah. Hope. So in this case, I would, in real production, I would go with random function in order to spread these dots. It's going to look much better. But for purpose of this presentation, I'm not going to do so. So just going to make the dots some opacity and less in size. So, and now we have all the same information that was before, like amount by total amount, or we can find top at least amount, and also we can replace this chart. Like, let's delete it. I really like delete things if you haven't noticed yet. So, and what we have left with some kind of cohort analysis and really analytical scatter plot. If you want to use something like that, we are going to have a lot of space for it. We need to have a lot of space for it. So I would place it like that and make it bigger. And this stuff is going to work for me as the same stuff as here. It's some kind of a, I would say, filtration. Yeah. So like we can filter with it our scatter plot, and I would go with this stuff. I would make a really huge, really bold, really huge, really bold scatter plot, and I would do something like that with the rest of the charts. Okay, are you okay? Okay. So, and just, it's like, it's not containers, it's not real containers, it's just a picture, so I can't modify it. And I just going with doing something like blank. And by the way, in this case, we was also spoiling some contrast rule because every block was the same size. If something is the same size, we don't understand where to look. We just, for now, I'm just going to this background of this stuff and place it like that. And we don't need to have, every time we're placing something, we don't need to have it like, we're also going to send it to back. And this stuff is also a picture. We're going to send it to back. You see how much work was done here in terms of this test work. And I would go with something like that. So the main idea is that we can like highlight something and show something in this case. I'm going to show you the final result that I pre-built on my own, just not to spoil sometimes. Yeah. So that's the final minute. Thank you very much. So I would go with something like that, and I did the production life hack here. So, and the main idea that is turned to be analytical dashboard. We can do something like highlight dashboards, highlight dots here and see how it's going on this stuff. Also, there was some legend that we didn't know about it. And also I would apply this really nifty hack. I am going to show you just because it's really cool one. For example, but it's too small. Oh my gosh. Okay. If you can see, but first row can see it for sure. But like there is a special formatting that shows something in case and something not in case and so on with different precisions. And I'm going to show you this kind of calculations I'm doing here. It's a specific custom formatting formula they came up, and it really works cool for us, just because you don't need, if you have figures with really different scale and different figures, you can go like that and it's going to work like that.
I'm using it in every dashboard for 5 years already.
Yeah, Andrei is speaking that because he was on my course and I shared this life hack with him already. So mainly we have these dashboards right now. Do you think is it better? Is it the same? What is your idea, guys? Okay, let's clap who thinks it's better. Okay, it was quite needy from my side. But nevertheless, yeah, I believe you at least acquired some useful skills in terms of what to do with dashboards. And yeah, for me, it's like that's it. Just the final slide in terms of like it's always something like that. So please feel free to ask me some questions, contact me on whatever, and I hope you wasn't so bored as you are looking right now. I hope it's just evening and you are tired. Yep.
I like mostly, when you remove this, delete that, and so on, remove the grid lines from the chart. It's really helpful sometimes, and just try to keep only useful things. I'm just suggesting to add one more remove in your list. Remove the customer from that process, because sometimes customer ask you to do awful things. For example, please put grid lines back, or please use the red color, please remove the transparency, please use 100% transparency, and so on. Maybe you have advice how to defeat such kind of customers.
No, that's the problem. Do you hear me? Yeah, that's the problem, to be honest. Ooh. Ooh. I really think that you are wrong. Let's imagine you are coming to a surgeon or, I don't know, dentist. What's going on if you are going to tell something like, oh, I want to delete my tooth? Yeah? Is he going to do so? Is he going to tell you something about it? Why it's a good idea or not a good idea?
It depends, I think, how much money I have.
Okay, so the same stuff. Okay, if CEO is going to come to you and say, put everything in red, you are going to do so in a blink of an eye.
Me personally, no.
Yeah, you personally know, but the problem not in business customers. The problem is the data analysts who can't argue in a good manner and can't resist to the customers. So it's not about removing customers from the loop. It's going to be a big mistake. It's about how to deal with these inquiries. Just because if people inquire something like that, they maybe they can't express themselves in a professional way. But if you ask them a lot of questions, we are going to say what they want to achieve. I don't know. For example, they want the dashboard to look sexy just because we're going to receive a lot of bonuses for this project or whatever. So it's not this way. I really would warn you in terms of hate your business users. You should be friends. You should go on the dinners with them or lunches, and you should really talk with them just because they are professional in their field. You are professional in your field. And you need to discuss it like grown people, to be honest.
Okay, thank you for your reply. It's really a difficult question. And sorry, one more thing. Frankly, I can't agree with your new design of the Lisa dashboard. For those who don't know, I am the former manager of the Lisa and hired her because she is really great BI engineer. Lisa, I love you. But you, of course, you have really helpful tips how to improve them. But you know what is the success factor of this dashboard? Just use the black and yellow colors in order to be high in accents. That's it.
You have quite low standards, guys, to be honest.
But
by the way, I used black and yellow lines in my dashboard, and I wasn't hired to accents.
Okay, it's a different question.
That's a good story. I can tell about this one day.
Okay, thank you, Roma. Thanks for coming here in Cyprus. You are really welcome here.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Raj.
I have a quick follow-up question. So I see, like, I really like that you make a case to cut the bull ass, but is there a case when you leave it? Like, leave all this mess, extra grid lines and etc.? Or no? Thank you.
Sorry, the general answer is going to be depends, yeah, like everything. But my rule of thumb that I'm going to delete it. Yeah, so it's like I'm going to start to delete it, and if it's needed for some purpose, yeah, we can discuss it. But like if I don't see the really utility of it, it's going to be deleted. Yeah.
What do you think about using if the company have the brand colors like red or green.
Yeah.
What do you think about using these colors? Not for deltas and
Yes, no, it's a shitty. I had one classes in MTS company. Andrei knows what he's speaking about, and they basic design was all in red. And like I think it's not a good idea just because it's shocking customers. In this case, I would use color in the logo. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe color if it's really neat, but I don't know why, in a title. But that's it. Inside the charts and dashboard itself, it would go like some other colors. Like, for example, black colors is the main color, and I don't know, blue color is
Gray.
second, blue and gray. I now have a project with company. I'm creating them style guides, and they brand color is green. And I was like, okay, gang, so yes, you are showing plans that was not met by green. Are you think is okay? So that's why now we moved to the green in titles and logos, in the logo of the dashboard, and everything is like, yeah, I would say dark gray and blue. Yeah.
But green can be different, like maybe light.
No,
green.
it's not going to
Also
work this way. Yeah, if it's like if you say that it is green, it's green. So yeah, no, it depends on the shadow.
Thank you, Roman. I have one question regarding your experience. Did you ever had feelings that you are right in doing something like similar to positioning or something like sense that yeah, it should be like this, like visual senses, many on the emotional feeling, on personal feeling, and then you.
Not personal, okay.
I mean, whatever.
No, okay.
But I mean, it's not on. You do not maybe know the math, but you feel this way that it should be right.
No. I never feel. I know the math.
I mean, so you from the beginning you knew all of the math. The question is, did you ever had a experience that you actually was doing something
I
wrong?
was doing something, yeah, for sure. Like for my K dashboard sometimes was not so good. It was my previous company. Like, okay, yeah, for sure I did it. And I have my first dashboard published on Tableau public, so you can scroll down and see what mess I was doing. Yeah, for sure. It's learning steps and so on. Yeah. And
do you believe that you're now doing something wrong sometimes?
Yeah, sure, yeah. And I have friends who can highlight it, because like it's really funny thing that some of my colleagues and employees I was like chief of, they nowadays can correct me in some terms, and I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks.